Всем большой привет! Продолжаем проходить вампира. Приятного просмотра, хорошего настроения и общения в чатике. Так.
It's locked. It's locked.
Ну тут мы уже были. Это не этот выход. Так, подождите, не этот выход. Так, нам туда надо пробраться, да? Так, проблема дальше будет в другом. Так, он идет. Иди сюда. Там просто двое. Что такое, Соня? Там просто двое, и как раз если на этих двоих, блин, попасть, это вообще шедеврально. Ничего, что у вас тут двери открыты.
Mr. Hooks and Nurse Hawkins are an item. Those two have hidden their affections well.
Да, кстати, здоровье восстановилось и взяла восстановление здоровья. Dark Souls. Ну, вообще, правильно нам сюда. Так, кстати, я забыла. Там у нас когти. Да понятно уже. Ой, блин. Я вышла. Это получается главный вход. Опять придется заходить. Ну да, я же говорю. Дверь открыла. А сразу нельзя было, да? Только с другой стороны дверь открывается. Ну ладно. Я это пульт от телевизора там лежит, вот от этого. Так, ладно, понятно. Да я слышу вас, слышу. Вы тут рычите. Только я вас не вижу, но слышу. Так, тут два входа, понятно. Как страшно-то. Ночью хорошо в эту игру играть. Вот где ты?
Behavior is similar to the infected William Bishop. Must be the same strain. This sickness moves faster than influenza.
Ну да, прям инфлюенция. Так, тут у нас по заданию, да? Это мы пока там не будем играть. И это по заданию.
This key will surely grant me access to the basement.
Подвал. Замечательно. Не надо было этого делать, ладно.
I cannot enter.
Что-то у меня написано найти. Ну, тут как-то странно все это дело.
Balls of Mars, fortifiers. As popular as they are ineffective. But they do contain iron tartrate, and that might prove itself useful.
Говорите, что мне спускаться в морг.
It's locked, all right.
Понятно.
These skulls feed from corpses and the husks of animals. They're not out of blood.
Проблема, что их там два. Ладно.
It's locked, all right. Mr. Connor's injuries don't match the report. I'd better look into this. It's locked.
Да.
Scowls can be so ferocious. I'm not sure I can defeat them without becoming stronger. Drink blood is so tempting. Sodium hypochlorite. Dangerous to administer, but efficient in the proper dosage.
Ну, так, в принципе, это очевидно было, что последнее лекарство и будет босс. Че, один удрал, их же двое было, по-моему. Привет, Денис. Страшно. Знаешь, как страшно, а никого нету. Так, ну я там была. У меня вот желание было... О! Я же не сомневалась, что на выходе будут меня ждать. Ой, страшно. Господи, так, нам еще надо лекарство сделать от мигрени. Да. Думаешь, я тебя не видела? Ой, вас там двое. Фух. Страшно. Dark Souls отдыхает. Dark Souls отдыхает тихо в сторонке от атмосферы. Страшно-то как. Так они могут проходить сквозь эти, как туманом. Скорее всего, это есть в прокачке. Так, ну что, мы немножко сделали, но вообще нам бы приготовить лекарство. Так, из Готовьте средства от переутомления. Даже понятно. Да. Так, налево. Сюди. Так, нам надо средства приготовить от переутомления, да? Ну, по-моему, 2 надо их. Так, здесь в палату. Так, Дороти, он там находится. Плюс нам надо еще полечить.
It's locked, all right.
Так, это на улицу, нам не на улицу надо, нам надо.
Finally, you've returned, Doctor. Did you find anything of value?
Yes, nurse.
You've worked your first miracle, Doctor. Now, this patient here needs immediate treatment.
Duty calls. When the storm has passed, I'll show you how to mix the remedy yourself with the same basic ingredients.
Many thanks, Doctor. When you've finished, you ought to report to Dr. Swansea in his office. He's been looking for you. Seemed pressing.
I will not let you down, my boy. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
Tell me about it, Mr. Goswick.
I don't want to talk, Doctor.
Так, подождите.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
I'm all right. Don't waste your time with me.
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
As for me, what a blundering idiot.
Так, а как ему лекарство дать? Вопрос, как дать лекарство.
I'm alright. Don't waste your time with me. My sweet girl. Reads me like a book.
This hospital
Good evening,
seems to
Mr.
be
Goswick.
falling apart.
How are you?
I'm okay.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and his patient have to communicate, sir. Would it help if I gave you some paper and a pen?
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
Why did your mother have you hospitalized here? She seems convinced this is a bad hospital.
My mother just wants the best for me. She won't rest while I'm here. She'd go all the way to hell and back to help me.
Pembroke Hospital may look unorthodox, but rest assured you're in good hands here.
It's not me you have to convince, Dr. Reed. It's my mother.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
Don't waste your time.
me.
This hospital seems to be falling apart. But in the circumstances, I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Good evening, sir. Doctor. I will not let you down, my boy. I'm all right.
Ладно, пойдемте. Я не знаю, какому лекарство дать.
As for me, what a blundering idiot.
Dr. Reed, may I help you?
For how long have you been working here, Nurse Crane?
I first volunteered at the Pembroke in 1911, a few months after Dr. Swansea was appointed.
And before you arrived here?
If you must know, this was my first job.
Так.
I'll see you later, Nurse Crane.
Подожди-ка, а может быть...
This hospital seems to be falling apart. But in the circumstances, I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt.
As for me,
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
I will not let you down, my boy.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
Do you need any help?
I'm afraid I may, sir. I don't mean to be a burden.
You are not a burden, sir. Healing you is my responsibility.
And you have my gratitude for that.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
Так, ладно, по-моему, я до
Waste
этого
your time with me.
разобралась. Хотя подсказка какая-то была, как лекарство давать. Вообще, блин.
Good evening, sir.
Все нормально у него.
How long must I wait, damn it?
Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune. Such an honor, sir.
Thank you.
О, мы с ним еще и
And
не
you are-
I
разговаривали.
am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland. I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
What do you think of Dr. Ackroyd's aversion to modern medical methods?
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded. Dr. Swansea taught me that science is about exploring uncharted territory. I'm convinced that's true.
With the influenza and all that's going on, you should put your differences aside, don't you think? Why is it so difficult to work together?
I believe that if Dr. Ackroyd had been the one to discover the transfusion process, he would be the first to recommend its use.
So you believe it's just a question of pride?
Dr. Ackroyd is as proud as he is blinded by his obsolete concept of medical
Мы
science.
сейчас это
Please, could you tell me something about yourself?
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reed. I run my own experiments. I'm convinced it's the future.
ты молодец. Так надо не только это космонавтом работать, но и чем-то другим поработать.
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired me. I am
Надо не только
honored to have the
космонавтом,
opportunity
но
to work by your side.
и рыболовом, и расхитителем.
It's always a pleasure to share scientific and medical knowledge with someone eager to learn. I'll be glad to help you if I can.
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible disaster, but I'm convinced that we, as doctors, are the only ones able to defeat it.
I based my technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method. What is yours?
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories at first approach. My process is purely experimental and unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain empty-handed, but you won't fail.
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
What can you tell me about the Pembroke?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea. But with your arrival, I can't think of a better opportunity to learn about blood transfusion.
Do you need help with anything in particular?
Well, yes, maybe. I'm waiting for a batch of products I ordered for my personal research, yet my supplier seems to have vanished.
Do you want me to play the errand boy for you?
Oh no, Dr. Reed. But if you went personally to his shop, what with your reputation and all, he wouldn't dare to refuse the products I need.
I see. Well, give me the address, for I may pass by if I have time. You seem quite optimistic. It's a rare and precious attitude in these difficult times.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test of endurance and dedication for us men of science.
Questions remain about our capacity to resolve the situation.
True, true.
Ты, кстати, Денис, я не помню, в Ларку играл? Том Рейдер прошел все части.
We're not smiling now.
Денис, наверное, уже убежал.
Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want? To save him, or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reed. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father, ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
Кстати... Ну да, на ютубе тоже стримить.
This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I agree. But that does not excuse Dr. Aykroyd's behavior. A man who did not even take time to converse with his patient.
Do you think keeping
Да,
his distance was a
показывал.
mistake?
У тебя работа в
I'm
космосе
taking care of
колоссальная.
human beings with desires, hopes and fears.
Я вот
Some
думаю, во что
biological
тебе
machine
поиграть,
comprised of blood, bones and flesh.
космонавт. Так, ладно, мы поговорили, мы, в общем, поговорили.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
Все отлично. Так, вы у нас все здоровы, но что-то у вас, кстати, это... По хпшкам я бы не сказала, что вы прям такие все здоровые.
It's locked.
Так, подожди, по сюжету нам... Куда телепаться? Поговорить с доктором. Я знаю.
It's locked, all right.
Please, Jonathan, come in. Fascinating, is it not? In the last decade, so
Я знаю, что тут...
have been brought to light with our microscope.
Ну, тут понимаешь, если быть злым и убивать персонажей, то ты заваливаешь очень интересные квесты. И полной игры не получится. Йорик. Бедный Йорик.
The view must be vertiginous.
It's at least as vertiginous as chatting about vampires with you, I would say.
This must be all so new to you. This area of town, the hospital, a brand new life. How stimulating it must be.
I wish I could share your enthusiasm, Dr. Swansea, but my condition defies scientific categorization. Undead? Unalive? Immortality defies logic.
I cannot express my thrill at this serendipitous turn of events. The world's most eminent specialist in blood transfusions, a vampire. One might say a gift from heaven.
It may seem strange, but your words have brought me some comfort here.
Forgive me. I've been an admirer of your work for a long time, and now you are so much more than a brilliant physician. And please, call me Edgar.
I'm not some doe-eyed student, Edgar. I understand we both have something to gain from this relationship.
Very well. I have a task for you, Jonathan. Something that will require all your newfound skills.
Please.
Что-то кажется, я немножко не
The
то
Pembroke only
сказала.
survives through the generosity of our benefactors. Unfortunately, our main donor has found herself in a bit of a bind. Now, if you could help her out...
A spokesman or politician is what you need. That's not my calling. And until I come to understand what has happened to me, I require discretion.
Discretion is in order, Jonathan. Lady Ashbury has recently received rather indelicate correspondence that, if revealed, would jeopardize her position.
And you would like me to eradicate this threat?
By the stole, of course not. I would just like you to pay her a visit. Her ladyship is certainly near the tents outside, tending the sick. You can't miss her. Look for someone impossibly delicate.
Accepted. I'll see what kind of trouble Lady Ashbury is in.
Do you need something, Jonathan?
We'll see each other again soon, Ed.
Да нет, там что-то было. Сейчас я у тебя тут потырю. У тебя тут много чего есть. Конечно, я не знала, что он так
Do you need
ответит.
something, Jonathan?
I have just a few questions.
Then ask away. I'm at your service, Doctor.
Since I'm the one working for you, what should I know about Pembroke Hospital?
Well, for many years, we have been the only medical facility in this part of town that people can rely on. We support the community here, as well as provide health care.
Where do we stand today?
Well, to be honest, we cope on a day-to-day basis. The first wave of the Spanish flu last summer took us by surprise. We lack many of the basic necessities needed.
What do you expect of me?
What we need is hope. You were a soldier. This is a war. This white coat's still a uniform. We fight to help the poor, the sick of the East End, the forgotten.
The man we pursued and slew in the canning factory, William Bishop, I believe, was he a vampire?
He was a Skald, technically speaking. The debate rages as to their classification. Some think them a subspecies of vampire, others something else.
How do Skulls come into existence?
The name means slave. The etymology may indicate that they are a lesser species of vampire. From what I know, vampires tend to despise them.
Just for clarity, what differences are there between myself and a Skull?
A Skull is easier to eliminate, Jonathan, even if they remain formidable foes for the unprepared. Vampires... Now, vampires exist beyond the mortal realm.
Since you seem quite the expert on vampires, what could you tell me about my condition and how it came about?
As men of science, our first step is always to start with what we know. Forget the myths, the hackneyed scrawlings, and the penny dreadfuls. They do not scratch the surface of the truth you now find yourself in.
The sun. The morning following my transformation. Its rays burned me. There was pain, smoke, and my skin blackened.
You will find very little that can kill a vampire, my friend. You have been offered relative immortality. The sun will most certainly hurt you, leaving you weakened and damaged, but it will not destroy you.
Must I take a life to live?
You are a vampire. You feed, and blood is the sole sustenance that can sustain your immortal frame. And only a living creature contains the nourishment you require.
You mentioned something about a secret society. A brotherhood, if I recall. Could you elaborate?
Certainly. I've been a member of the Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole for several years. We are pledged to monitor and report vampire activity in England as impartial scientific observers.
That explains your nightly wanderings about the docks and the questions you ask.
I feel it wasn't mere coincidence that led us to that part of town. There was something as yet unseen that set those chain of events in motion.
Yet you don't fear me. And still, you know the monster that lurks beneath the civilized surface.
The Brotherhood has studied your kind for centuries. We believe you are as supernatural as a lion is to a gazelle.
We'll see each other again soon, Edgar.
Подожди. А я там была.
The flu took my dear wife, Emily. I take comfort knowing we'll soon be together again.
Mr. Rainfield, that's no way to talk. You're in good hands here, and we'll be up again soon enough. Now do me a kindness and get some
Столько в
sleep.
больнице
I'll be back
места,
round
на
later.
улице в палатке. Или тут тяжело больные по типу,
You're the sweet,
как
sweet lady of
сказали,
mercy.
инфлюенция. У вас есть морг,
Good evening,
где
Dr.
куча
Reed.
комнат.
It's a pleasure to see you again. You seem
Я не
surprised.
знаю, вообще этого не
Dr.
понимаю.
Swansea has brought me up to speed concerning your recent
Почему на
appointment
улице?
to Pembroke Hospital.
You're a vamp. The lady who saved me that night, before vanishing into thin air. I remember you from the pub with Dr. Swansea.
Indeed. Allow me to introduce myself formally this time. My name is Lady Ashbury. I remember you well, in spite of the brevity of our encounter.
Apologies. You've taken me by surprise. I'm very happy to see you.
The pleasure is mine, Doctor.
I hope you're more disposed to answer my questions now.
You must have countless questions, but our rather urgent matter first. Swansea has explained. My cover, if you prefer, has been compromised.
Pardon my boldness, Your Ladyship, but I have questions concerning this condition we share.
As a newborn, your hunger for answers is rivaled only by your thirst for blood. But the questions need wait.
I'm a scientist. My trade is in the deciphering of mysteries, and I need information to feed my mind.
I will gladly answer every question you have, but first, prove yourself capable of resolving my predicament without eating the culprit.
Have any of the patients given you trouble?
These poor souls have so little left to live for. I do my best to ease their pain.
The world would be a better place if it were cared for by women like you.
You make me blush. I am simply a necessary evil.
Dr. Swansea has commissioned me to be your agent in this matter. You could start by explaining what's amiss.
These past insufferable weeks, I've been the victim of extortion. I've made a first payment, but the blackmailer grows greedy. I must refuse his most recent demands.
Who would be so foolish as to threaten you? A kindred spirit.
Even if it were the case, and I highly doubt it, a vampire would have asked for something more valuable than money. My suspicions lean toward a patient, or their family.
If we're dealing with an ordinary criminal, surely you've the means to deal with it yourself, if I may.
As immortal tradition doth dictate, all fangs and hypnotic eyes ablaze, the blood would run like a river. That's what I hope to avoid. Violence has a tendency to spiral out of control.
What are your expectations? Please be precise.
As the newly appointed surgeon of this hospital, you are in an excellent position to ask innocent questions and deftly learn the identity of my blackmailer.
Please continue. Every detail is essential.
Привет.
My embarrassment in this matter
Santos.
is eclipsed only by my shame at having put the
Как
hospital
дела?
at risk. The threat from our anonymous scoundrel is clear. A list of dates. My visits coinciding with the dates of suspicious patient deaths due to massive blood loss.
У меня нормально. Вчера привезли плиту, сегодня будут плиту подключать. Не всех. Если всех убивать, то квесты потеряются. А я хочу выполнить по возможности все задания, чтобы все у меня люди остались живы.
I'll take care of it. Do you know where I should start?
If that was the case, I'd settle the matter myself. You could talk all gossip, Harriet Jones. Not a pin drop here without her
Нет,
hearing
стрим по
about it.
подключению плиты не
I'll meet that
будет.
woman now.
My life, as others know, is in your hands, Dr. Reed.
Не мы же будем
I'm
это
sure of your
подключать.
discretion,
Газовщик
But
должен
I do fear
приехать.
your powers of persuasion will be put to the test. When this is resolved, I'll be your obligé. I'll answer all questions in regards of your condition.
Тише. Так, ну что, мы с ней поговорили,
Is our
да?
little mystery closer to being solved, Dr. Reed?
I think of nothing else, my lady.
My situation is delicate, and it occupies all my thoughts. The blackmail must stop. I need assurance.
Так, ты это... Да, я посмотрю, чем он болеет. Ты можешь выйти?
Is our little mystery closer to being solved, Dr. Reed?
I think of nothing
Ой,
else, my
не
lady.
туда нажала.
My situation is delicate, and it occupies all my thoughts. The blackmail must stop.
Так, все, ладно, понятно. Ой, так, тут где-то был... С ней надо поговорить, да?
Good evening, nurse. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed, the new surgeon here at the Pembroke.
Dr. Swansea has already told us about you, sir. I'm Nurse Gwyneth Brannigan. Welcome
Кто?
to the Pembroke Hospital.
Did he really? It's a good thing I wasn't hoping to keep a low profile.
All members of staff have already read about your new blood transfusion technique. Dr. Swansea made sure of that.
I see. Well, I'm a little surprised, but I suppose I'll just have to deal with
На
this
Discord напали.
unexpected notoriety.
You must know, blood transfusions are Dr. Swansea's
Это не я
primary subject of
пчихнула, а
research.
муж.
He is convinced it is the future.
Неужели вы думаете, что я так чихаю? Сантос тебе будь здоров передает. Передала. Муж сказал спасибо. Ну, наверное, слышно было. Так.
How are things here?
Not good, to say the least. We're struggling against an invisible enemy, more lethal than any bullet from a gun. It's hard, Doctor.
An invisible enemy. Quite a poetic term for a disease, especially from a nurse.
Sorry, Doctor. These last few
Нет,
weeks have
играть
been
я не только
exhausting.
начала, играть я
We could all
давно
do with a
начала.
good
Скоро
night's
уже будем заканчивать.
Do you think this hospital can survive?
Морг я
We're
прошла.
all volunteers here, and we're trying to hold fast, but how do we beat an invisible killer? Some nurses have already resigned.
Что круть? Что скоро заканчивать будем?
I'm not familiar with all the staff yet. Perhaps you could help me.
Brilliant professionals, most of them. Dr. Swansea has a gift for recruiting talent.
Most of them. Is there a problem I should know about, nurse?
It would be inappropriate for me to speak ill of a colleague.
Is there anyone that stands out?
Well, I have never met someone as dedicated as Dr. Tippett. He should
А,
be
ты
a
концовку
standard
ни
for
разу
us
не
all.
видел. Ну ты ее долго не
If only
увидишь,
you were
Сантос.
Why should his age
Ну,
be a problem?
I guess it's fair to say he's
по
always
поводу
pushing himself to
концовки
the
я
limits.
буду
He
стараться,
just doesn't know when to
чтобы
stop
у
and
меня
get
все
the next.
выжили персонажи. Но тут уже как получится.
Nurse Brannigan, if you do know something, please tell me. Anything you say will be held in confidence.
No. I may disagree with some conduct, but in the end, everybody is doing their best.
Why does Dr. Tippett claim you're the main reason he keeps working, despite his fatigue?
If it wasn't for him, I probably would have left the Pembroke years ago.
Dr. Tippett does not think of you as just a nurse anymore, does he?
If you're suggesting he's not taking my gender into consideration when it
Ну,
comes to
тут,
medical
знаешь,
practice
вот
and knowledge,
мне то
I really
интересно.
hope he
Тут по
doesn't.
логике говорят, что две концовки всего лишь. Или ты хороший, или ты плохой. Плюс ко всему, здесь как бы... Она у нас здоровая. Как бы... Надо, чтобы персонажи выжили. Чтобы были квесты. Если персонажи умрут, не будет квестов. Поэтому за этим надо следить. Помимо этого, как я узнала, нельзя спать. А то будут NPC часто болеть, а ресурсы ограничены. Ну, короче, тут столько заморочек, как что получится, я не знаю. Тут все очень сложно.
Have you heard rumors of anything underhand going on here at the hospital?
No, Doctor. Never.
4 концовки? Ну, во, видишь. Денис говорил, что 2 концовки. А тут вообще 4 концовки. Короче, я не знаю, на какую концовку я пойду. Я скажу так. Я видела только немножко вампира начала. Дальше я ничего не видела. Концовок я не видела. Я не знаю, что там, как там. Поэтому на какую концовку мы пойдем, не знаю. Тут же и с персонажами можно и поссориться.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Так что как-то вот так. Пойдем, мы его вылечим, он переутомился. По-моему, он шантажист. Вот мне так кажется, что вот этот вот товарищ шантажирует.
You're lucky to be alive, Mr. Cox. I hope you're starting to take better care of yourself.
This place is full of sickness and decay. How could I get better in such a dump?
Consider yourself lucky that I'm treating all of my patients equally. But don't push your luck.
Don't play the innocent with me. I'm sure you have good reasons to act this way. And also weaknesses that can be exploited.
Денис, смотри, я понимаю, что конкуренты есть у рыбалок вообще куча, но я пока только одной рыбалка, это Fisher Planet и все. В других я смысла не вижу. Ну, не знаю. Ну, я посмотрю, конечно. Лучше бы я, конечно, ему не давала лекарства, но он, по-моему, нужен для квеста, для чего-то. Ну, он шантажист. Мне кажется, я вот зря ему лекарство от головной боли дала.
Do you ever think about that poor fellow I saw you push in the water?
The wound he gave me will make sure I don't forget.
Да.
It still fucking hurts. Boss had cut me good.
That man was determined to murder you. You almost died.
What a surprise. The first time I met him, he nearly shit himself. Fucking coward. I guess revenge gives you balls.
Не знаю, вот такой отвратительный, но он нужен. Я его вообще хотела прибить, блин, в самом начале. Ну ж по нему видно.
What did he want? Revenge?
I recently had to kill his brother. Poor arsehole thought it would be easy to return the favor.
Only the strongest survive, then? Survival at all costs. Is that all you think about?
I'm the toughest bastard you'll ever meet, Dr. Reed. And I don't give a fuck.
Просто я знаю, что вот с ним очень интересный квест. Вот с этим вот. Поэтому его можно завалить. Вот этот вот, да ну, по нему, как он разговаривает, и так видно.
How is your hospitalization going, Mr. Cox?
This is a shitty place with shitty staff. As long as I'm treated all right, I'll be fine.
Вот серьезно, блин, сейчас бы загипнотизировала бы, под мост увела бы, его сожрала бы. Но нельзя.
What's wrong with the Pembroke staff?
That bastard you sent to bring me here, Milton. I thought he was going to break all my bones before I reached my bed.
I see. Any other smart comments?
The nurses aren't too ugly. Especially that foxy one, Nurse Crane. Pretty brunette, tough attitude, all like that.
What's wrong with the hospital?
Come on, Dr. Reed. The place is a dump. Smelly, sad, and dirty.
But you're alive thanks to the efforts and dedication of the staff here, aren't you?
What are you expecting, a medal? I thought that saving lives was just part of the job. Must be an unsatisfactory profession at this time, I'm sure.
How long do you think you can escape the law, Clay?
Привет, Пётр.
Like the back of my hand, Doc. I know its streets, who to pay, who to avoid, and who to bully. I won't get caught.
Сейчас мы с этим товарищем.
We can't escape the consequences of our actions. The past catches up with us in the end.
I ain't afraid of death. I don't hide who I am. I live my life honestly, which is more than I can say for most folks.
And who are you then?
I'm the leader of the Wet Boot Boys. One day I'll leave this shitty place and punch in the face all who thought I was
Мокрых ботинок, главарь. Ой, мне сразу напомнилось «Один дома». Там, где липкие руки. Отлично. Вампирчик мне очень нравится. Много диалогов, много интересного. Куча, как выяснилось, вон Сантос сказал, что тут аж он посмотрел, что тут 4 концовки. На какую концовку мы идем, я не знаю. Тут аж 4 концовки. Но по возможности я постараюсь, чтобы все персонажи NPC выжили. Тут надо, чтобы NPC выжили. Плюс еще я знаю, что патруль на улице, когда ходит патруль, желательно его как-то обходить, этот патруль. Не попадаться. Потому что если убивать патруль, то больше будет зараженные, NPC будут погибать. Тут, короче, ну, насколько я просто слышала. Тут хитрая игра и интересная тем самым. Так что на какую концовку мы пойдем, не знаю. Хорошая, плохая, средняя, не средняя. Не знаю, плиту еще не поставили. Ну, кровяки, убивяки тут хватает. Меня знаешь, тут как тут убивяки? Меня тут уже несколько раз покусаки, убиваки. Ты что? Ну, я, конечно, тоже. Так, ну что, спросим о шантаже.
Blackmail? That's not my style. Too risky. The black market, though. Now that's where the money is.
Так, понятно, шантажом он не занимается. Угу. Подлечили мы его. Может, он, кстати, окажется, что он вот такой вот противный, окажется самым нормальным. Вот тут. Так что, ладно, вроде бы нормально мы с ним диалог провели. Пойдем мы сделаем еще лекарство. Ничем не болеет. Так, тут восстанавливается. У нас, кстати, еще одному нужно лекарство дать. Но он находится в другом районе. Но мы тогда ему не могли дать его. Так, налево. Налево. По коридору. Пойдем. Так. А чё это? А кто это нам открыл? Смотрите, какой хороший балкончик, без перилов. Какая прелесть! Балкончик без перилов. Это ж специально для меня. О, Палыч, привет. Вы молодцы, вы все так вовремя под конец стримов дружно приходите. Ну, может, он напишет. Может, он напишет. Ну, ладно, ладно, господи. Ну, вот. Так, сразу-то. Сделаем мы просто еще одно. Нам потом с ингредиентами идти. Вон исследовали. Так, ну что? Наверное, на сегодня мы закончим. Нет, спать я ложиться не буду. Все равно без перилов. Я знаю, что без перил. Но у меня будет... Соня! Ты с чем там играешь? Ты что там во рту держишь? Сонь! Что уже утащила? Ты что там жрешь? Ой, чудовище. Фу, кака, брось. Соня. Ну, где ты уже? Чудо в перьях. Так, ну что, усё. На сегодня усё. На сегодня буду с вами прощаться. Палыч, жду танки. И Макс тоже жду, чтобы постримил, а то что-то Макс не стримит. Вот. Так что все, всем большое спасибо. До завтра. Пока-пока.